What's going on, everybody? This is Super Mike 2164. We're going to do some sciencey stuff. And this is me. You guys going to go on a journey with me to fact find, to learn. We're learning about DNA, how the story of life is should be put up. Going in with a critical eye. And we're going to make sure that we fact check the fact checkers, because one of the things is, let me get it real straight here. Hold on. One of the things is we got people telling us the story of life, telling us our story, and we don't even check them on it. We don't even question real deep. We just, kind of say, okay. We let these people tell us our story. We know these same people have lied to us before. But for some reason, we just trust them. Now, of course, they're going to tell the truth on some things, but are we really just, looking at things with a critical eye? So that's what I want to do a little bit today. Let's see here. I want to get right into some of this here. So we're going to be looking at this map. We're going to be criticizing this a little bit. The Native Americans. So it's a hot topic. Everybody wants to believe that the only and the first peopling of the continental United States and North America, South America, was approximately 16,000 to 14,000 years ago. No one else was able to come over here prior to that. That's what's being said. These were supposedly folks that just kind of walked over here, which, that's very possible, because there was a land bridge there. This was a whole entire exposed situation here, the Ice Age. We got the lower glacier maximum. So, of course, that's the truth. That can be verified with records, fossil records. It can be verified with climate records, other things. So, we're pretty sure that this kind of happened. And we're pretty sure that people crossed back and forth on this this land here, because obviously it was good to, fish, hunt, all sorts of things. But the issue is, because we live in a current climate of, unfortunately, scientific racism, and these things are facts. If we want to pretend like scientific racism has not existed, then we're fooling ourselves. So we want to verify. We need to go back over all information, all stories, and we want to kind of just check it. So, even especially the story of the DNA. So DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, RNA ribonucleic acid. So let's go over some facts. I want to go over some facts about what DNA is. We want to just show up a couple things at first. And we want to ask some questions first. That's the first thing we want to do. Just come in questioning. Keep in mind, I'm not an expert at none of this. I'm going on a fact-finding mission, trying to understand. And if you have answers to some of the questions that I have, you can go ahead and put links in. I sure will check them out. But what I encourage people to do is, unfortunately, in the United States, unfortunately, and a lot of Western academia, if you don't uh, sit, they teach a lot of, they teach theory almost as if it's fact. Theory is not fact. Theory is not fact. Theory is theory. It's the reason why theory is theory. It's because it is an educated guess. All of the factors and variables are not present to confirm theory. Okay, so we had a slight debate about the genetic origin and makeup of what the black man and woman is in America, in the United States of America. Some people want to say that all the Africoid or black phenotype comes from slavery. All of it in America comes from the slave process, the enslavering process. And I don't believe that. Why should I? Okay, because we know some things. Now, some people want to just go by genetics. So I'm going to do a couple parts of this because we won't be able to do it all in one take. These people are the Jarwa people on the Andaman Islands of India. Someone told me that these people, just because they look black, they're not. That's what somebody said. Just because they look African, they're not. This is what someone says to me. This is what the way that a lot of folks have been learning DNA. This is what they believe. They want to tell me that these people from Sudan, hold on. Maybe this will work. Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Let's see if this will work. I have to scroll through them. So we got people here from Sudan. That's Sudanese people. That's Africa, definitely. And someone wants to tell me that human being has no connection with these people. No connection. Because one is in Indian Ocean and has been there for at least 60,000 years. And the other one's in Africa. Which was, and they still want everybody to believe that every human being came out of what is called Africa, the landmass that's Africa. But really, is that what they're saying? They tell us that the Khoisan people have the oldest DNA of any anatomical modern man. But is that true? And what we do here is I'm going to cross-reference some of the information that is supposedly scientifically, this is what folks are telling us. in the scientific community on this subject. So I want us to think about some of this here. And what I want to do here is just keep in mind. Let me look at this here. This is my question. So we're peopling. Now keep in mind, down here, we got Africa, we got India. This is where the Jawar people are. They're over here in this area. You got the peopling of Beringia. Okay, they're over here. The scientists want to believe that there's no way in hell they could have gotten across the ocean here. Even though this water level was much lower, more islands, and boats did exist. But they want to plead, and because they want to say that these people are different. Okay, no, all these Africans, they had to walk. They couldn't. But now you got in the islands of Papua New Guinea, they want to say these aren't black people. These aren't related to black people. And white folks are going over there. You know what white people do. They dress up like you, pretend like you. Pretty soon you're dead. Look at the Papua New Guinea black woman. She doesn't look happy with that white woman next to the man. That's a human being. They want to say that these people made it with Denisovians. Are there different species? Can you reproduce with a different species with a different chromosome number? Is that possible? They want to say that these aren't black people. Nappy hair. They don't like Ivan Van Sertima. They say Ivan Van Sertima doesn't know what he's talking about with his book. Let's look at Ivan Van Sertima's book. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Let me share this screen. I said Ivan Van Sertima doesn't know what he's talking about. I want to see the front cover. Man, they want to show the cover. I want to see that picture. You know, I got the book actually. I just wanted to show that the cover of the picture. They want to say that Ivan Van Sertima. Let's look at this here. Let's see if he will. Does he have a picture? Does he have? Okay, there it is. That's what I want you to see. Now, look at this here. They want to say that's not a black man. That's the Olmec civilization. They want to say this is not a black man. Okay, hold on. Now keep in mind, this is what they want us to believe here. Let's do this. So they want us to believe these aren't black people. Look at them. Look at their faces. They're not black. Look at the hair, the texture. This is black face. But these aren't black people. These aren't black people. And the black people were not here in America. Look at the braids. You know. So they're saying that anatomically. Now he's showing figurines and actual stuff that was found over here. So this is not DNA. But people saying the DNA disproves what we see here. disproves the archaeology. This is what some people want us to believe here. You don't have roots in America. The Africans were too stupid to what? Make a boat. That's what they want you to believe. So that's what we're dealing with here. Now you're saying this is not scientific, but if you think about what white people are telling you, hold on. Now let's look at this. I want to show y'all something with DNA though, but I just want to finish this out with the peopling of this country here. You got to realize they want you to believe everybody just walked. People took boats because Australia got populated. So people got to Australia, and people did come from here through the islands, and they definitely look at these small islands. They got over here. Montevera is, 15,000 years ago. So these are the mitochondrial DNA. So we got, so let's go through the DNA. So this here is A2. This is mtDNA. Okay, these are DNA profiles that they've come up with based on changes that has occurred in the non-changing, the slowly changing DNA of human beings. They do not look at nucleotide DNA. They look at Y chromosomal DNA, which is in the men, because it's easier to track. They look at Y chromosomal DNA, and then they look at the mitochondrial DNA in the women, because that doesn't change in women. So we want to go over that so we get cleared of it. And they name these DNA chains, these changes, they name them A2, B2, C1b. These are supposedly 1, 2, 3, 4, basically A, B, C, D, X, and L. 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, they try to keep 5 civilized tribes. This is what they want to call Native American. Anything else that's over here, they don't count that as Native American. You see? Now keep in mind, your DNA, you're going to have African DNA coming this way too, because they came from Africa here. So, but that's not counted as Native American. Asian. Okay. D2 spread. The Africans were too stupid to walk away. They just stayed in one spot. This is what they want you to believe. But, okay, let's keep it moving. So the people who were movers and shakers were the natives, the Asians, back migration. See, this is what they want you to see. Now, they only track one chromosome, which is the Y chromosome. And they only track the mitochondrial DNA in the female, which is not even really part of the coding portion of a cell. There's about 16,000 base pairs inside of the mitochondrial DNA. On a regular chromosome, you got about 50 million to 300 million base pairs, okay, which actually makes stuff, in the human body. And you actually have like 46 chromosomes, 23 from the mom, 23 from the father. Okay, so let's look at this DNA thing. Let's see if I can show some of it. Hold on. Here it is. All right, let's look at this. I didn't want to go all the way over Ivan's video yet because I just want to show this part. Let's look. Let's look. Let's look. Let's go over what this DNA thing is. All right, so this right here, this is a karyotype. So if you look here, you got 23 pairs. Each one of this one line, this one squiggly line is from either your mama or your daddy. This one is from either your mama or your daddy. See, they can't track these. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Because they get recombined every time a new baby happens. Another base chain goes on them, and they get mixed up. So whatever's dominant, whatever's recessive, all of your ancestors are in here. All of them are in here, but with their current technology and the way that they do things, they can't track them through time. This one here, this X and Y, can get tracked. Now the X gets recombined. It gets mixed up every time a new baby happens. But the Y, we know it only came from the father. So this is the reason why they can track this one, the Y. Now, the woman, they can't really track her in the DNA. So, but inside of each cell, there's a thing called the mitochondria. And the mitochondria actually helps you to create ATP, which is called adenosine triphosphate. It also helps to power a lot of the functions in your body, in your cells. But in the mitochondria, there's a DNA that's isolated from the process of when a baby happens and when a reproduction happens in the mom. The DNA or the mitochondria, the cells from the mama, will go into the child. And those cells can be tracked. Of course, the father only sends a sperm, so his mitochondria cannot go into the new life cells because he doesn't hold the baby. But mama's DNA, mama's mitochondrial DNA can be tracked because it doesn't really change because it's like a separate pack. It's not really part of the body in that way, as far as being part of the cells. It's part of the cells, but it's just like a battery, kind of a separate thing. Okay, so they can track the mitochondrial DNA easy. But you got to understand, when you look at this stuff, you got to question, okay, what are they missing though? So when people think that this is the issue that I'm getting on a little bit here. I want to show this. Let's see. I don't know if this will work. Now I got to go over here again. I'm just going to share the whole screen. All right, so let's do this again. All right, so just want to show y'all this here. All right, so damn, will this even move? Let's see. There it is. All right, so this is something I wanted to show. All right, and I'm showing y'all this because these are famous people. All right, so we know John Amos, black man. He played the father on Good Times. He married a white woman. Okay, this is how this man looks. Okay, when he married that white woman, he had some kids with her. That's the daughter. The daughter has the mitochondrial DNA from mama. But she don't look like mama no more. She don't have his Y. The daughter, if I was to take her DNA, I wouldn't find John Amos. And if you look at the daughter, she can pass for some Native American somewhere. She can pass for one of these Pacific Islanders, and that's the Rock. Can't the daughter pass for that? See, I wouldn't find John Amos, African American, FBA, if I just tested his daughter. But guess who I will find? The mitochondrial DNA. Now, if I name that mitochondrial DNA, it would come somewhere from Europe, wherever her DNA is from. If I just tested, if all I had is a body, and I just tested her, and I just used the mitochondrial DNA, I would picture her as a white woman. Because you can't, the mitochondrial DNA doesn't tell you what someone looks like. It's just showing it's from your mama. That's it. But John Amos is in there. We could see him in the product. John Amos is in the rest of this stuff. He's all in here. All the other 22 pieces, 22 and a half, I should say, because he gave an X, because a man can give an X or a Y. Okay. So this is what I need us to understand here. When people think that just because you can't see, or just because the DNA marker didn't tell you that, you know, let's say these people have a different Y or X, or a different mitochondrial DNA, or a different Y chromosome. You can see that they're the same. You can see the other stuff, the nappy hair. That's in here. You know what I'm saying? The melanin, that's in here. That's in the autosomal DNA. That's in the recombinant DNA. Okay. It's not in the Y chromosome or the mitochondrial DNA. So just because the white man names the mitochondrial DNA and the right chromosomal DNA, just because he tracks and names that, and they may have different DNA as far as mitochondrial and chromosomal, you can look right at them. They're the same. It's because they might have a different mitochondrial DNA marker or a Y chromosomal DNA marker. You can look right at them and you can see enough similarities to where you can see that there's a connection somewhere on the tree, on the phylogenetic tree. It's not on the tree that the white people put up. We can look here we can look at enough phenotypical markers. Phenotypes come from here. People say phenotypes mean nothing. That is one of the most ignorant things you can say, because phenotypes come from here. And if I was setting up DNA, and if I wanted to track movements, I would find out the phenotypes that I would find out the genetic markers that code for phenotypes, and we could track those. But the white man didn't want to do that because it probably was too hard. So he just tracked Y and mitochondrial. He only tracks this little piece. That's all he can track. So he can't tell you the range. He can't tell you anatomically the same people. And we know he can't tell that. and we'll get into that a little bit later. I just want to touch on that part. Let me move on some here. This is another portion of this here that I wanted to get in. Let me see if I can touch it. Yeah, this is his son. Now, if you check John Amos' son, if John Amos wasn't around, you just checked his son, and you check the Y DNA, okay, you would say, oh, this man is from Africa. You would say he's from Africa. You can't tell where he's from. You just take that he's African or African American, because all you're seeing is the Y, but the mother is still there. She's in there too. This white woman is in there. You can see her in him by looking at his phenotype. You can see it. This is what I need some of us to understand. We can't be stupid. Look at the rock. That's his daddy. That's a Y DNA. But look at the rock. That's Hawaiian genes. If you was to look straight at the rock, you wouldn't know that his father, he don't have nappy hair like his daddy do. But that's his dad. Now look at the dad and look at the granddaughter. See? Look at the granddaughter. You can still see some of the black. You can see it. But you wouldn't know it unless they just told you. Okay? You wouldn't know that the straight up African, because the daughter doesn't have his mitochondrial DNA, because that's only passed through the mother. You would have no connection there. And she doesn't have the daddy's Y DNA. This daughter is invisible. This grandfather, this black man, is in here, but the white man's way of picking it up, he wouldn't find it. He could find it now just because she's very close. Just because, the way they do the DNA, they can check it when it's pretty close, so they can tell that that's his granddaughter because it's just a couple of generations out, and they have ways to pick up those markers because it's so many of them. They have so many markers still in common that they can tell that that's his granddaughter. But what I'm saying is, the more he goes back on the tree, he's gone. This man is out of her. The way the white people track DNA, that man is gone. So, and we got to get out, and some of us, when we learning about this stuff, we be all in our feelings and stuff. Let's get out of that. So when you're talking about these people here in Papua New Guinea, you're talking about these people on Andaman Islands. They're not black, and just because they got a different Y chromosome marker or a mitochondrial DNA marker, so they're different. No, you got a common ancestor. You can see it. Those markers show a common ancestor. And even if those common links have died out, what have you, or what, they could have died out because obviously, if you look at this map, when the people went around the planet, obviously there was people out here in this ocean, and when those waters started to rise, a lot of them folks died, right? So we don't have to be stupid. We know there's a common ancestor, and white people, they'll tell you anything if you just want to listen to white people. This is the problem. These are the youngest people on the planet. And then they go around the planet trying to tell everybody to listen to them. They start marrying. Look at the men. This white man comes up there, Sam and Juliet's Papua New Guinea wedding adventure. The white man always coming over there trying to marry somebody's women. I just want y'all to understand some basic DNA stuff. These are the markers, the haplogroup, they call them indigenous American markers, A2, B2, C1, D1. Just want to get into some of this here. And that's all we're doing. Right now, we're just going over terms with the DNA. Let me go through here. Hold on. I want to show y'all something this here. Let's look at this here. All right, we're going to go in here. Let me share this screen. We're going to go over some terms in the DNA. These are the base pairs. And what that means is this is the amino acids. So like if you look at, and I'll show you guys a picture. Hold on one second. Let's look at this real quick. I just want to show y'all something. All right, I think that's good. Let's try that. I just wanted to show it. Press the thumbs up button. Press the thumbs up button. We just going to school here. This is science. We doing science. We're just science. We want to make sure that we understand before we really get into the next phase. This video is just going to be a lot of just kind of getting us ready to understand what direction I want to go in, because we want to really ask some questions and we want to kind of understand some of the basics of this. So when it says base pairs, this is how your DNA is set up. So it's like A and T, adenine and thymine, adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. You know, these pairs, each one of them is a generation. These are the base pairs. And it's got a positive charge and a negative charge, and they spiral. Right. And then, you know, so this is the backbone, sugar phosphate, and then you got the nucleic acids inside of there. That's how it works. This is how your DNA is set up. So that's, I just wanted to show that picture so you have an idea of what this means when she says this here. Hold on. Let's see if y'all can see that anyway. Okay, y'all could. Just want to make sure y'all can see everything. All right, so let's listen to this here.
Stands for. So our four bases are adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. And if you just remember the letters A, C, G, and C, that's all you really need to know. So there's four possible values, A, C, G, and C, basically at each location on our chromosome. So what?
Keep in mind what the chromosome is those 23 pairs that I showed you in the, you know, that's 23 pairs.
What are haplogroups? Well, haplogroups are very broad groupings of the human population.
Now, let me read something on the haplogroup. I'm going to read something here. Now, haplogroup is just basically, they just come up with these names and they just say, you know, all this people is this. You know, the white man just comes up with it and say, okay, there are 20 main Y DNA haplogroups. And a haplogroups is just a group of people that, you know, white people have decided to say, okay, this is them. We're going to name them this. And they just came up with it. Now, keep in mind, it says technically, there are 20 main Y DNA haplogroups, but many of them have subgroups. Technically, anytime two people differ at just one tiny spot in their DNA, they could be said to have different haplogroups. But since that would mean keeping track of millions of groups, scientists instead split us into fewer categories. They only look at differences that are useful. See, useful for them. They decide these things, such as those that help us track the migration of humans. They want to be able to tell you how you walked around, how you got around the planet. So they want to define your origin. They want to define your makeup. This is naming. This is why I named the thing the religion of science. Because if you look at this here, we'll go right here. Let's see if I can show it. Let's see if I can even show it. Let me make sure you guys can even see what I'm looking at. Okay, y'all couldn't see that, so hold on a second. Press the thumbs up, share the message. Like I said, this is just a little education here. We're just going through some of this here. This is science, B1 Science, Math, Science, and History channel. We want to be able to question. You can't even think of a question if you don't know the foundation of what to even ask. If you don't even know the foundation of what to ask, you can't even think of a question. Can't check anybody if you don't know what's happening. So that's where I just want to get us to even get into it. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm getting into this myself. So, I would encourage others, if you're interested in this, we should at least be able to question these people. Nobody should be able to define us, and we not check them critically. They can't just come up in there and start telling us what's up. No. All right, so let's look at this here. So there are 20 main Y haplogroups. They basically saying each change could be a haplogroup, but they don't do that. They decided to track you based on what's useful for their agenda. Okay, what's their agenda? How do we know their agenda? Okay, this is the agenda. Let me show it to you because I can show it to you. Let me see. I want to show everybody everything, but maybe I shouldn't do that. Here it is. This is their agenda. I'm going to show you this part, though. This is Super Mike 2164. Make sure you guys press the thumbs up button for me. Make sure you like and share it. Make sure you give me some feedback. What's going on? We're just going through some science. If you're just coming in, you're going to probably rewind this a little bit later. We're going to talk about haplogroups. We're talking about the agenda, the science, the religion of science. This is science has an agenda. And all I want to do is we're clearing some of the earlier terms real quick, just so that people can see what, if you're not familiar with any of this and you're going on this fact-finding mission with me, because I'm learning this. And so I want to kind of do this with others. And I'm going to be asking some questions later. This is just the first video to get some of the terminology down packed for us. But I'm going to share this entire screen. And we're going to find out what the agenda is. Now, I just showed you that they split up the haplogroups based on what's useful for them. And useful for what purpose? This is their purpose right here. This is called the Bible. They made sure everybody had it. No matter where they went in the world, they made sure everybody had it. This is how we know this is their agenda. Here it is. It says, this is what they believe in. So God created the man. I'm going past here. But then he told them, God said, bearing seed. So And God blessed them to them fruitful, replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air. This is the reason why white people go all around the world and try to dominate, name, define, categorize. They change everyone else's story. They tell everybody what to do, what to think. This is one group of people, but they go around the world because they go around carrying this agenda here. This is the agenda, and if you don't believe that, sorry, people believe that science is nothing to do with religion, but no, it does. And I'll show you a little bit about that later before we leave. And I'm going to prove that. But this is the agenda. Subdue the earth, replenish it, have dominion over everything. The fish of the sea, that's why they go way down in the ocean, and over the fowl of the air, over every living thing that moveth. God told them to, behold, I've given you every herb, seed, all these kind of things, okay? So that's Genesis. God saw everything he made. He said it was good, right? Let's go to the second part of this little same passage. This is the categories. All right. He said, what else they told him? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Took the man, put him into the garden, dress it up. Okay. Wait. Here we go. All right. This is it. And out of the ground, the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all the cattle, all the fowl of the air, to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found any help to meet him, so he got a woman. Okay, so the thing is, this is part of their agenda. They want to name everything because it's part of their domination mentality. This is a mentality. And let me prove that real quick. I'm going to prove it. Let's look at this part. This is a movie.
Greatest history book ever written.
This is a movie here. Space Intelligence. What's this thing called?
Work with a special man.
Odyssey.
I tracked him down here in Venice.
Venice is in Catholic Italy. That's in Rome. This guy is a geneticist. So this is religion. And I just want to show you guys this, but I want to show y'all a couple parts because I'm not going to look at this whole entire movie.
I know the genetic results, they're supported by clear data, and yet I still find it amazing that only 50,000 years ago, the ancestors of all of us were still living in Africa. It seems like
all of us, okay, 50,000 years ago, this is what their doctrine is telling them. They're saying that 50,000 years ago that everybody was living in Africa, okay? Nobody was nowhere on the planet past 50,000 years ago. This is what this man is telling you. Even though we have archaeological sites all over the planet, even the Topper site in South Carolina, 51,000 years old, full of stuff. You got archaeological sites in California, 100,000 years old. But this is what this is a geneticist. This is modern science. This is what they say. This is the reason why I'm saying to you guys, just because genetics is saying something, you still have to question science. Science is not to just be believed like it's a religion. But this is what an agenda. This is an agenda here. And please, like I said, if you haven't seen it, rewind it. We went over the terms of base pairs. We went over some of the DNA. I showed you how what part of the DNA that it's being tracked. And we know that only two parts of the DNA that science likes to track, which is the Y chromosome and the mitochondrial DNA in the woman. So this is tracking the migration patterns. the groups of humans that they split people up into are called haplogroups. They split them up because it makes it easier. But technically, they said everyone could be a haplogroup per any change. Okay? So let's listen to what the mainstream geneticist, what his agenda is.
Such a short period of time on an evolutionary timescale. Look at it this way. Humans evolved from apes, and apes first appear in the fossil.
Okay, so he says, this is what this man says, human evolved from apes. That's what they want to tell you. Now, maybe it's true. But how now when we listen to scientists, I ask them, how do we know that apes didn't evolve from humans? I'm just saying, how do we know? And if you guys know that, tell me, how do they know? Because let's look at this. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to let y'all play that, but I'm going to show you something after this.
A record about 23 million years ago, a huge expanse of time. So compress it down to a year. In that case, apes appear on the 1st of January. Toward the end of October, the first ape men arrive, the first ancestors to walk upright. Amazingly, it's not until the 28th of December, nearly the end of the year, that the first fully modern humans arrive on the scene. And even more incredibly, it's not until the 31st of December, New Year's Eve, that they leave Africa to populate the rest of the world. And by New Year's Day, our ancestors had made it to the furthest corners of the globe. But how could they have made such a journey so suddenly, so swiftly, and so successfully? That's what...
All right, so he's going to go around the planet and he's going to try to find and prove what he said. So he went to Africa to the Khoisan people. Now, if we look at the Khoisan people, he's saying that these are the oldest genetics. These are supposedly basically cavemen. That's what he's trying to paint these people out to be. But I'm going to show you something on here, and I'm going to question that. Now, we look at them, they're not dark people, really dark. They're just kind of brown-skinned people, and that's normal. Black folks have all kind of genetic diversity. We can see this is the way the Khoisan folks look. They have their ornamental beads and things like that. Now, we know that the Nilots, we know that the Andaman Island black people on Andaman Island in India are much darker. How do we get that darker skin tone from this? If everyone on the planet, keep in mind, this is what this geneticist just told us. He said, this is what he's telling us. It's not true, though, because we have conflicting reports. We have Albert Perry DNA. Albert Perry, he was found in South Carolina, I believe. North Carolina. Jacqueline Johnson, they did a 23andMe DNA tree. His DNA, his Y chromosome dated back to about 300,000 years old. So, and also he has a great grandsons. Obviously, he had a father. So, this man just told us 50,000 years ago, we got to question. We can't just let them get away with stuff. They're defining. Okay, keep in mind, they only track one portion of the entire DNA chain. And then I want you to see this. He told you that 50,000, he said, what does he say? A couple 100,000 years ago, people were walking on all fours, everybody descended from some monkeys.
But how do I begin? For start.
Hold on. He said everybody descended from monkeys. But I'm going to ask you this here. And I asked the question, how do you know monkeys didn't come from people? And the reason why I asked that is this one. I'm going to show you something real quick. This one's going to be quick because I'm almost done here. Because people evolution can go both ways. These are people, but look at them.
About to see something truly a away. unseen, but the quest to find out why took a team of scientists on an amazing journey and raised profound questions about what it is to be human.
The thing which marks us off from the rest of the animal world is the fact that we're the species which walks on two legs and holds our heads high in the air.
Is that just one
It's
person?
what defines us as
In
human
many
beings.
ways, yes, also language and all sorts of other things too, but it's terribly important to our sense of
All
ourselves.
right, we're not going to go through the whole thing. But
The affected children are aged between 18 and 34. They all still live at home, cared for by their brothers and sisters, and their parents, now in their 60s.
So far as we knew, no other case like the one in front of our eyes has ever been described before. There were no reports in the scientific literature of adult human beings walking on all fours. And so we
A faulty gene onto some, but not all of their children.
it's very bad luck that the children have inherited from both parents the same recessive genetic.
okay, so we see here people, they're walking back, they're turning back into what? Monkeys. And they're not even that smart. Look at them. You can tell something wrong with them, right? Something wrong.
Basic neurological tests confirm there is something wrong with their brains.
Okay, so that's just confirmation. We see something wrong with these people. All right, so that's why we got to understand, like, everything doesn't go one way. But this is what the white people, they want to tell everybody something. And then let's look at this. Let's see how.
The Kalahari Desert, Namibia. I'm here to find an extraordinary ancient tribe of people, the San Bushmen. Our research
All right, we're not going
get to meet the San people, the Bushmen.
This is the San.
In a way, you carry a secret in your blood, and you can think about it like a family tree.
Look at the
I
man.
explained the
He's looking at him. That brother is looking at him. He know what he's saying. Keep in mind, they know his language, but he can't tell their language. So he's trying to make it seem like he's so much smarter than them, and they don't know anything just because they choose to hunt and to gather and to live like their traditional methods. They choose to do that, but they know what this man is talking about. They understand him.
tree was just like the family that we all belong to. My family line is one of the small fractured branches at the very top, while theirs is the oldest on earth.
And see, while my family tree is a fractured branches at the very top. But, you know, we know that that's something wrong with that thinking, but whatever. Maybe it's not.
Earth, the biggest branch at the base of the trunk. I get the feeling I'm not explaining this at all well, but they're way too polite to say so. This is really quite embarrassing. So it's a great privilege for me to come and meet my distant relatives and the people who give us a glimpse of all of our ancestors. So in one sense, we're all Khoisan. We're all San people. It's just that my skin is slightly redder.
We would like to thank you for the information that you brought for us.
This is like a dream for me. Everything predicted in their blood seems to be written in their faces. It's like looking at a composite model of every face from around the world. The eye shape of East Asians, the high cheekbones of Mongolians, the mid-brown skin that could turn darker or lighter.
Now, this man just said the skin can turn darker or lighter, but they've been there for way longer than 50,000 years. If you look at the way they look, they all pretty much are the same skin tone. They're not turning, and this is South Africa. So there's real dark people around there, but that's just not in their tribe. Look at the children. The children have the same skin tone. So this man is kind of dreaming up something. It's confirmation bias.
So how do I know that of all the people on Earth, the San are direct descendants of our oldest ancestors? I'll try to explain a little better this time. I work with DNA.
All right, whatever. I just wanted us to see. He's gonna tell them their stuff, but he's supposed to be smarter than them. Listen, look at him.
Căn hộ. Sao có cúp cái này?
One more. Going to the right.
But they weren't philosophers, they were hunters.
See, that was an insult. They weren't philosophers, they were hunters. As if they can't think. They're talking to you in your language. But I just want us to understand when we look at stuff like this, we need to be critical because these people have these biases. And I just want to put that out there. And I want to show one other thing here. This guy's going to go all over the world. Okay, this is a good part. He's going to go to Australia because he believes that they went to Australia, but he said that they were too stupid to get on the boats. And he's telling the Australians that they came from Africa. And the Australian is like, hell no, I didn't.
The Aborigines are famous for their tradition of oral history.
Now, he told these Aborigines that they came from the Khoisan people. They don't even look alike, but you know they're the same. They have a common ancestor, but you can tell that these are different people. There are different traditions. They didn't get on a boat. There's people. Remember, there's people way before this on the line. This is why we got to be careful when we just look at DNA.
Call them songlines, and they tell the story of their beginnings passed down by word of mouth through the generations. Perhaps there's something in their songlines that hints at a journey. Roy from Mungo.
I don't know. That's a curly question, that one. I don't know. See, I believe that we come from here, and I think I will always believe that.
I've hit a dead end, but I've got the bit between my teeth and I'm heading north to Laura in Queensland. Do the rock paintings there hold clues to a possible migration?
There's a big hill like that. That's why we got water out.
But hard as I look, I can't see any evidence of a journey.
From here, right.
And when I ask Greg Inabla Goodbye Singh, an Aboriginal artist from Queensland, he really lets me have it.
You mentioned with DNA testing that you've got now will trace us back to Africa. I don't believe that.
Why not?
Because if our stories aren't correct, you know, if they are a myth, the way that you guys might believe they are, and we know they're not, why isn't it possible that the Africans actually come from us? You know, we branched out from here.
Yeah, it's complicated to explain.
And listen to the white boy. He is not going to listen to you. You listen to him. You see, because he has a mission. He has that Bible. He has to dominate. He has to name. He has to categorize. But, you know, he does that to several other cultures. I want to see what he does to the Native Americans because he went all over the world trying to get his confirmation bias. And he's down here to the Native Americans in Navajo. And he told them the same thing where they come from. He's trying to tell them that their story is wrong.
Stories about where the ancestors, the ancestors of everyone may have come from.
It depends on how you, there are discussions about migrations. Mm-hmm. I mean, when we migrate from our mother onto the Earth's surface, that is a migration narrative. I mean, we come from one being to another. That's a migration. If we believe that we were created here in the Four Sacred Mountain area, this is where we came up from the ground. In other words, we were birthed into this place, just like we are all birthed by our mother.
I also have my own sense of what that story might be using science. I'm a geneticist. And everybody around the world is very closely related to each other. We're all part of one big family. In fact, we're all related to people who lived in Africa as recently as 50,000 years ago. That's only about 2,000 generations. So
look at their face. Look at their faces. They're looking at this man like, you telling me disrespecting my story, my creation story, you're not even going to check it out. You believe you know. This is people who believe in DNA. Trust science. Believe in it. Don't question it. I'm telling you.
You have distant relatives living all over the world who are essentially African. And you yourselves are essentially African. So am I. Can I show you some pictures of some of the people we've met?
Yep.
That's a religion. But you know, I want to stop it right here because I'm gonna continue on to this because it's just too much. But I just want to show that this is what a lot of yeah, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, especially Darwinism. I'm gonna show this one last piece, and then we're gone. I just want to show this this Darwin thing. You got to realize that Darwin had the theory of evolution, a natural selection. He had that theory. What is it? 1859. It's over almost 200 years now. Almost. Was that 170 years? And they haven't changed it. They're trying to force it true. And if you notice, when you're really looking for truth, the original hypothesis, it changes based on new information. But what they're doing is they're not accepting new information. They're just kind of working. They're just trying to force what they already believe in. And let me finish this off here. Yeah, they're just trying to force what they already believe in. I mean, I got a lot of stuff. It's kind of too much. And so I might have to do like 2 more of these just to get it off, just to get some justice to it, because I want to document some of this stuff here. Yeah, this is the Origin of Species by Charles Darwin. This is their religion. 1859. What does it say? I just want to read the cover of it just so we understand. On the origin of species by means of natural selection or the preservation of the favored races in the struggle of life. This is racism. This is the foundation of scientific racism. But it's so interwoven into the education. It's so interwoven into the eugenics theology. There's no questioning it. If you question people, they actually get angry, as if you're questioning God. You can't question them. They will. We have evidence where people are presenting information and being told to hide the information because it doesn't fit the narrative. So, you know, that's kind of where I wanted to kind of end it off. Let me close this down. Yeah, that's where I wanted to end it off, guys. That's pretty much it. And just let me know what you're thinking about. If you see this here, I appreciate you guys coming, checking it out with me. And, you know, that's pretty much all. Let me know what you think. Are we supposed to just trust science? Are we supposed to just believe? Is it a religion? Or are we supposed to question, verify, and advance?